Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Valiant. It's the Tier 5 British Premium Medium Tank. It's located on the south spawn of Redshire and it's under the command of ProvoBob, and this is a double feature featuring 2 battles with ProvoBob at command. Now he's got 3 marks of excellence on his Valiant. He's been playing it a lot ever since we were given it for free, but it is still regarded by many people, especially David Fletcher, as the worst British tank ever designed. Absolutely dreadful. In fact, there were so many faults with it, he said that if they ever showed it to students, they would take all day to work out where all the faults were, because simply there were just too many to almost to list in a short time. It's got a 75mm gun which is capable of doing 110 alpha, penetrating 91mm with standard ammo, and with the premium rounds that will go through 144mm. It was basically designed as an assault tank, so it's very slow, top speed 19 kilometers an hour, and it was actually designed that way because it was going to be used in the Far East against the Japanese, but it never got past the prototype stage. They were going to build 3 prototypes, but in actual fact they only built the one because it was a complete failure, and it was during early testing they realised this tank was just not going to be worth taking any further at all. So there's only one version. It's at the Tank Museum of Hornington, and there it remains for all history as an abject failure of British design. He's getting nice damage on that Cruiser 4, but then the teammate has parked himself right in front and then cost him the kill, and that was a bot that did that, by the way. So it's not a person who did it, it was a bot, but it's still very annoying. Now this is a battle on the Southeast Asia server, the Australian New Zealand server to be precise, which means of course that there's very few real people involved in this battle, and there's quite a few bots, and I've got the names up on either side of the team list so you can see if there's a bot involved. If it's got a semicolon in front of the name, then it's a bot, and that's Panzer IV Aslains H was actually a real player, but he's now out of the game. In fact, that was the best player on the enemy team. Now the Churchill he's firing at the moment, that is a bot, but we saw a Valiant in the picture briefly, and the Valiant is a real player. I got a hit there. The Churchill can't see him, but we can see the Churchill because our teammates are spotting for us. Now it's a fairly fast reload because the book reload is 4.03 seconds, but ProvoBob's managed to get it down to 3.47, so he's knocked off half a second. He's probably got vents, well, definitely got a good crew because he's got 3 marks on it now. Now, despite the fact that he's up against bots, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an easy battle, because some of the bots are difficult to kill and some of them are very good as well. Some of the bots can catch you unawares. So far they're 2 up on the enemy. Both of our tanks, our heavy tanks over by the Zeppelin, are bots, I'm afraid. But one of the tanks that's facing them is not a bot. Okay, that Hetzer's a real person, so's this M8A1. He's trying to get shots on them, they're in the other channel, so he can't see them yet. He needs to get closer if he's going to. And he's going to have to get over this ridge line in order to spot them. Only trouble is he's going to be exposed to the enemy tanks that are over to his right, and he's aware of that. And he might actually receive fire from some of the enemy tanks over on the other side of the battlefield. There's the Su-85. That's a real player as well. And that's the Su-85I, which is actual fact the Soviet version of the Stug. In fact, they made the Su-85I from Stugs that were captured. They repaired them and put them into battle, as a captured tank, a loot tank. And the Germans had a word for that. They called them Bootpanzer. The AMX-40's got very tough armour. Now you see ProvoBob has been firing standard ammo up until now, but he switched to the APCR to get through the armour of the AMX-40. Sadly though, the guy's out of sight at the moment because he went over the ridgeline. He probably won't need the premium ammo for the Covenanter, but that's a real player as well. There's the AMX again, out over the ridgeline, but he's been proxy spotted by the Covenanter. Now you might want to switch back to the AP because the Covenanter's got very thin armour. It's a British light tank with a fast firing gun. Yeah, you can see that. Very fast firing. He bounced all those rounds though, because basically he's got 115mm at the front. And one more shot will kill him. Yep, he's gone. Yeah, he's got 114mm at the front of this vehicle, so you always want to have the front of the vehicle to the enemy. Couldn't get that last shot in, and I think the guy's going to go underneath that bridge now. The Stug on our team is following up, and the Stug is a real player. Okay, the AMX-40 is now no more, and that means now there's only 4 enemies remaining. ProvoBob hasn't got a single kill yet in the game, but he has got some damage. And the enemy Valiant's coming to sight. Now that Valiant is a real player. There he is, right up at the Zeppelin, and he's been spotted by somebody. In fact, it's the Wolverine on the enemy team. It's a bot, and he's got a 3-inch gun that's able to penetrate. Doing 115 alpha. Ah, no, that one hit and rolled. A high roll. He seems to move after he's firing each round, but ideally what he wants to do is keep moving and get low before. And yes, unfortunately the Wolverine is getting through the armor. He's using premium ammo. Oh no, sorry, he's using standard ammo and getting through. And he's lost his gunner now, so he's going to be inaccurate unless he gets that gunner back in. And his first aid kit is on cooldown. The Wolverine dies, but it dies to the Stug 3G. He really needs to get his gunner back in, otherwise he's going to be in terrible trouble. It was surprising that Wolverine was able to get his rounds in, but you can see there, he has got a number of holes on the front of his vehicles where the shell penetrated. And that's the armour that's 114mm thick. That's why it was an assault tank, you see. The idea was that this tank, like the Excelsior beforehand, would be able to keep its front to the enemy, just drive straight up to them and then shoot them at close range. And of course they wouldn't be able to pen, but the Wolverine did manage to pen him. Okay, there's the enemy Valiant. Now he can pen because he's also got premium rounds. And that's a real player as well. There's the B1. He's a bot, but he's not going to go over the ridgeline because it would expose him to fire from the Valiant. And the B1 is taking damage already. Oh, the Valiant's in sight again. Okay, now let it dial in before you shoot. Otherwise you're wasting the premium ammo. There you go, it's on the front of the machine. So the problem is that gunner. Your first aid kit's back, so you could use it now. Get your gunner back in. I think he's so used to playing without the gunner now that he's forgotten that the gunner's dead. Okay. No, he's still getting inaccurate shots. And the B1 is now bouncing his 4 47mm rounds on us. He still hasn't fixed his gunner. But the B1 is so close that he can't miss. Now he could fix that gunner straight away. Still bouncing ammo. Yeah, his rounds are just bouncing off the front of the B1. Yep, ProvoBob still hasn't recognised. You've got to remember, get your gunner back in. That one hit the tracks. And that one penned. Now go for the kill shot. No. Firing standard ammo now. They killed the enemy Valiant, so he doesn't need to use premium ammo, but he's going to have to use it soon because he's running out of shells. Now, can kill the B1, but he's just not close enough. And now he does it, even without his gunner. So it's just the Churchill left. Will he fix his gunner before the end of the game? If he doesn't fix his gunner, the gunner won't pick up the XP from the battle. His share of the XP won't go to him because he was dead. And that's it, the end of the first battle, and his gunner's still dead, which means the gunner misses out on XP at the end of the game. Now, let's have a look at the second battle. In the second replay, ProvoBob is on the south spawn of Cliff. Game on. One of the reasons why the Valiant may not have been a good tank was that it was very, very underpowered. It had a 210 horsepower engine, which is a GMC 6004 diesel, and well, it was very similar to some of the other tanks, such as the two-stroke diesel in the Valentine. I'm afraid that's the only commonality it had with the Valentine. Originally they were going to build the Valiant using parts from a Valentine, but then they stopped and changed their minds. It was built by a company called Rushton and Hornsby. Originally it was going to be built by the Birmingham Railway Carriage and Wagon Company, but no, they passed it off onto Rushton and Hornsby instead, and they built the tank in 1944. But when it was actually finally built and they took the prototype out, it got only a short way through the trials before the driver said it was literally undrivable and he couldn't drive it anymore, otherwise he would end up breaking a limb, because the reaction to the steering lever, the pedals, to actually make this thing move about was so violent that he would actually hurt himself if he even tried to drive it any further. Okay, it's got a Type 95 across the way. There are bots in this game again. The Type 95 is a bot. Let's see if he moves forward. Yes, he does. Okay, he can go to town and kill this guy now because he's in a very good hull down position, but that guy is a real player and he's also in a fairly good position on that corner. So I think ProvoBob's going to have to take care of the M10 before, and he wasn't fully dialed in when he took that shot. Taking blind shots now. The RBM is still there. Now the Type 95's cut right across the Western Pass, and oh, he's turning around and going away. That guy's going to be an easy kill. One more shot. Good, he's got him out of the game. But I'm afraid ProvoBob has lost 130 hit points already to that M10 RBFM. In fact, I think he lost more than 130 hit points. It was 2 shots from the M10, yeah, because 152, so 252, and now he's lost 114 more. Yeah, it just goes to show the M10 RBFM is actually very powerful, way more powerful than the original M10 Wolverine in the game. Wargaming literally left the statistics for the 76mm gun, or rather 3-inch gun, much higher than they are on the M10. But of course, the thing is, on the M10 you can have the 105mm gun. On the M10 RBFM you can only have the 76mm. He's trying to prompt the guy into shooting. It's pulled out, but there he is. He can't see him, but he knows he's there by the fact that he keeps getting hit by the shells. And no, you can't fire through the turret. It's not going to help you. I think he's actually stuck on this corner until he can get rid of that M10. I don't even think he can actually fire underneath that turret. Here comes another bot. Or is it a bot? No, it's a real... Oh, it's a bot. It is a bot. And he was set alight. He's aiming this way, but he's not firing. And he is... Oh, second fire went off. And this time round he's got the kill. Some of the bots do behave very, very weirdly indeed. Well, there are 2 tanks up on the enemy at the moment. Still 7 left on the enemy team. It's a reduced numbers game again. Only 13 players. That's quite normal for bot games. You will get less players. He's having a quick look to see if he can see that M10. I think he's still there. That hit the building. Ah, now what happened there? Because we didn't see an explosion. There's an explosion. So I reckon one of those shells did actually hit the M10. That one hit the rock face as well. So, and again, he's firing the HE rounds now. No, that's hit the rock. And that has as well. So one of those rounds appears to have actually hit the M10. It would be taking a bit of a risk if he was to actually get around. There's the another M10. Or is it they only have one M10 on their team? They do. They only have one M10. So the guy had actually pulled away without us seeing and actually went up on top. And ProvoBob managed to work out that that was the one who's only got 5 hit points left. I don't know how he managed to get around. Well, I suppose he must have pulled back, gone up near the cap area and then driven around and up the cliff face and up onto this donut. And that guy's got 3 marks on his barrel as well. And he is taken out of the game, but not by ProvoBob this time. Let's have a look at the front of ProvoBob's machine. Well, you can see most of the rounds were actually going in near the mantlets. In fact, this tank had an internal mantlet. You can see that there. It's actually inside the machine rather than outside, which is why it bulges out. Coaxial Beezer machine gun, which is standard for British tanks, or was standard. There's only 5 left on the enemy team, but the scores are even now. And I think what he's going to try and do is A, spot any of the enemy over near the cap area, but also see if he can get shots on that T80 up in the distance. Okay, there's one of the enemy. It's a Marder. And ooh, now he's been spotted. Sixth Sense didn't go off, but I'm sure he was spotted. I'll be surprised if he isn't. Oh, he got that guy. He's coming over here. And he stopped. And he's out the game. Now, ProvoBob is still using standard ammo. That Marder's looking in this direction. He has got a 75mm gun. And ProvoBob's actually putting in really good rounds here because he can only see the top of the gun shield. Still managed to get the hits. Of course, the Marder 38T is based on the same hull as the Hetzer and the Gorilla. Of course, the Panzer 38T, which was also the same as the Light Viz. Nearly got that one in, but he can get another one in if this guy exposes himself there even more. Go for it. Oh, no, that didn't work. But he's trying to get in position so he can shoot ProvoBob, but he won't be able to anymore because that was a kill shot. Apparently, when the Valiant was taken out for its tests, it was abandoned after only 13 miles of easy on-road driving. And that was near the fighting vehicle proving establishment at Chertsey. The driver just said he couldn't take it any further. If he did, he would probably suffer an injury. I did say that earlier. But they decided that the steering levers needed his full weight to operate, and that the seat, foot brake and gear lever all carried the risk of physical injury when using them. That was the state of this vehicle. It was just so, it rebounded so badly on the driver that it literally could break his leg or break his arms if he tried to change gears. So they decided it wasn't worth him suffering any further injury. BDR can't even see him. It is a real player. He's turned his gun in this direction, but he's not firing yet because he can't see ProvoBob. ProvoBob's now spotted him, or rather he's been spotted, but he takes out the BDR before he can respond. But he does receive a hit from the Panzer IV Aslains H, and he's using the dirt gun, and that's why he took 171 hit points from that shot. So I think he's going to try and get shots around this corner. Can't see him now, and he's been spotted, so he has to pull back. He's somewhere over there behind the house. There he is. Good job, he missed that. Managed to miss that round hitting him. He should have reloaded by now though. Watch out, he's about to shoot. Yeah, he did hit, but he didn't hit ProvoBob off that shot. I think he hit the rock face just in front of us. Well, not the rock face, but the boulders. Now he's trying to lure ProvoBob out, and ProvoBob's decided he's going to try and make it down behind this rock and then use the ground cover, the other buildings and the like, to get closer. He's the last one left alive on the team, and our M5A1 Stuart, who is a real player, I think, no, he is a bot, sorry. He's capping. Would you believe it? A bot is capping. So he's now down to ProvoBob to keep this Panzer IV Aslains H over here, because if he does try to get back to the cap to get the reset, then we're going to have to chase after him. And of course this tank is not fast. As I say, 19 kilometers an hour top speed, which is basically the walking pace almost. It is, after all, supposed to be a walking tank, much like the Valentine. Just trying to check, where is he? Oh, he's been spotted. There he is. He is trying to get back to the cap, but he's gone the long way to try and get there. He does get a hit. It is another HE round. He's popped up for another one. ProvoBob gets a respawn. Can he get a kill shot? Ouch. 47 hit points, but he lost his driver. He'll need to fix that if he wins and kills this Panzer IV. Otherwise, the driver won't get the XP that he needs. And there he does that. So quickly fix the driver. Otherwise, the driver misses out on XP for this battle. And he doesn't. So obviously, that is a bit of a problem. But he did manage to win the game with 6 kills. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats for both games. Here's the end of battle stats for the first game. It was a first class mastery for ProvoBob in the Valiant. He also managed to get a 5 effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle. A bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He managed to get 9 in that one. He got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, a steel wall for blocking the most damage in the game, and a Confederate because he hit more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. His win rate from the game was 5,344, so a very good game. Even though he only got 1 kill, he did hit a lot of the enemy and did enough damage to score the highest. Well, we can see here 2,100 hit points. These are the only live players in the game. The next high scorer was the Stug 3G on his own team, 1,865, and the next high score after that was the Hetzer on the enemy team, 1,410. In fact, yeah, I think you can see here that the live players didn't get all the kills in the game actually on this occasion. There was only 9 kills of the enemy team. There was 13 players in total, but only 9 kills by the live players. And the highest number of kills was done by the Stug 3G. He got 5. 2 kills went to the T1 Heavy, the Hetzer and the Su-85I. And then ProvoBob only the 1 kill. But when it came to base XP, he's definitely got the highest with 1,208. That's the only person over 1,000. 938 went to the Stug 3G. 502 went to the Stug 3B. So let's have a look at details. 56 shots fired, 31 direct hits, 20 penetrations. Yeah, the 75mm gun wasn't penetrating as much as he'd like, but then towards the end of the battle, remember, he hadn't fixed his gunner, and as a consequence a lot of his rounds were going astray and they weren't hitting the targets. So next time, if you do lose your gunner, try and get him fixed as quickly as you can, otherwise you are going to end up with bad figures at the end of the game. 2,100 hit points of damage, of which 336 were at more than 300 meters. 17 hits received from the enemy, 7 penetrations, 10 non-penetrations, and 520 hit points of damage blocked by armor. You saw in that game that, yes, his front of his tank was peppered with shells that actually did pen, and most of them were coming from that Wolverine, who was able to use his gun to get shots through. 2 enemy vehicles were spotted, 8 enemy vehicles were damaged, 1 was killed, and 293 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium count, he earned 42,096 credits, got 30,000 credits for completing the mission events, total of 72,096 altogether. And after repair, ammunition, respawn, and consumables, he took away a profit of 4,728 credits, even though he did use a fair amount of premium ammo during the game. 1,812 XP, 725 for this being a premium vehicle, and took away 2,537 experience points altogether. So a good game for the first one. Let's have a look at the second one on Cliff. Well, that was an ace tanker again, and this time round he managed to get an arsonist because he set light to one enemy tank and watched it burn. That was the Panzer 4D. He also got a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a fight for effect for doing more damage to the hit points of his own vehicle, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, he got 13, a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and he also got a top gun in this one for getting at least 6 kills, and he did get 6, as well as the steel wall for blocking the most damage in the game. His win rate was much higher in this one, 15,326. I suppose you could say there's a lot to be said for actually hanging on a corner where you see lots of bots going by and then killing them as they do, and this way around you will end up with a lot of hit points. But ProvoBob went down the Western Pass, and only 3 tanks actually, or 4 tanks, made their way down that way. He killed 2 of them. Was it 2 or 3? No, he killed 2 of them. He didn't get the kill on the M10, but I'm pretty sure he did actually hit that guy at least once. And yes, we can see that. In fact, he hit him 3 times in that game. 3 times. 345 hit points off him. So yes, he did get some shots that he fired in that direction. Let's have a look at the team score. Highest damage, 2,975 hit points. The next high score was that Panzer IV Aslains H with 1,924, followed by the M10 RBFM, the really good player. He was a 3 marked M10 RBFM. He got 1,570. The next highest in kills was ProvoBob again with 6 kills, 4 kills to the BDR-G1B, 3 kills to the T-34 on his own team and the Panzer IV Aslains H on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, he's got that one as well. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,613. He was the only one to get over 1,000. And, well, quite a high score, you might say there. 1,613. Yes, that is a high. 709 went to the T-34 on his own team. And 700 went to the Panzer IV Aslains H on the enemy team. He fired 55 rounds in this game, 30 direct hits, 28 penetrations. You can see the difference in the number of hits and penetrations goes up tremendously when you've got a live gunner. 2,975 hit points of damage, of which 301 were at more than 300 meters. He received 11 hits from the enemy, 4 of those were penetrations, 4 non-penetrations, and 3 hits by way of splash damage. I think 2 of the shots actually came in from the M10, or was it 3? And did damage, and he also received a shot from the Panzer IV Aslains H, which was an HE round. I'm not sure if that one penetrated though. It may have been the one of the other tanks that actually hit him. We'll have to look back through the video to see exactly which one. But anyway, 3 hits by way of splash damage. That was the Panzer IV Aslains H. 325 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 7 enemies vehicles damaged, 6 killed, and 111 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium count, he earned 52,149 credits, and after repair, ammunition, respawn, and consumables, he actually took away 3,991 credits after using some APCR. He picked up 25 bonds from that battle, And 2,419 XP, 968 for this being a premium vehicle, took away 3,387 experience points altogether. This is not the only battle that ProvoBob sent me in the Valiant. He sent me many before, and I don't think it will be the last either, because I'm pretty sure he does enjoy this tank as a training vehicle, but also for the sheer fun of actually going out there and blasting at things. I know a lot of people, when they tried the Valiant for the first time in the game, they thought, well, it was very good but very slow. It actually did withstand a lot of shells fired at it, so long as they hit the front of the vehicle, where the armour is heaviest, the 114mm. But if they hit the sides or the rear, there was a chance they might actually pen. I think you've seen in his battles that the M10 seems to be the antidote to the Valiant, because even standard ammo on the M10 is capable of going through the frontal armour of a Valiant. So if you ever see a Valiant in your battle, if they happen to be in the same, because they are in the same tier, then obviously it's the M10 that needs to kill the Valiant, because everyone else is going to have a bit of difficulty trying to do it. If you enjoyed this replays, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.